Welcome to the Acoustic Guitar Podcast. I'm your guest host, Joey Lusterman. Usually I stay behind the scenes of the show, but I'm filling in while Nick is out of the office. For this Acoustic Guitar Sessions mini-sode, I'm joined by singer-songwriter and quote-unquote secret shredder, Shana Cleveland, who you may also know as the lead guitarist in La Luz. Before our conversation, Cleveland kicks things off with a performance of her song Quick Winter Sun from her latest album, Manzanita.
Here in the valley the hours are cut down from the hills up above. Double the dark now the new season's come. There goes the quick winter sun. Woke up too late, now the day's almost done. There goes the quick winter sun. All of the others around us have gone. Look where the last humans. Out on the trail too far, we feel our way back to the car. Swallows return to their houses of mud. There goes the quick winter sun.
Do you have a different approach when you're playing or writing for acoustic versus electric?
Yeah, the biggest difference is when I play electric, I use a pick, and when I play acoustic, I never really use a pick. Yeah, pretty exclusively finger picking on acoustic and using a pick on electric. On acoustic, I use a lot of open tunings, but on electric, I never really do, and it's honestly just probably a convenience thing. Like with La Luz, I don't want to be switching guitars in the middle of the set, so I just kind of keep it simple. But with my solo project on acoustic, it feels a little more relaxed, I guess. So I just kind of will allow myself to do several different tunings and just kind of make people wait a little bit.
I noticed you have you made a bumper sticker that says "I break for alternate tunings."
Yeah. Yeah, it's surprisingly popular.
I bet. What is it about playing in alternate tunings that you like so much, and do you have a favorite?
Yeah, I do. So my favorite for the last two albums, I've been really into open G minor. And so for Manzanita and for my album Night of the War Moon, both have several songs in open G minor. I feel like for the next record, I have to like give that one up because I've just been so into it for so long. But yeah, open tunings, I feel like for me, it's like open tuning, open mind. Like I can just kind of let my mind wander easier. It's so easy to make something sound good right away in an open tuning. I think it kind of takes the pressure off and it kind of lets the inner critic take a break. And for me, that's the best place to start writing a song from, where I'm sort of just wandering around and not too worried about um really what chords I'm playing or doing something right or wrong. It's just sort of you can just kind of noodle, I feel like, in a way that uh is really inspiring for me.
I read that you really like to play guitar outside, and so I'm wondering what the role of nature or the wilderness is in your artistic practice.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of a similar thing that I get playing outside as playing in an open tuning where it's just it just is an environment where I feel like I can kind of get outside of my head a little bit. When if I'm sitting inside of a room that's really sort of controlled, I feel like I I can hear I can hear mistakes better. I can sort of it's there's something a little intimidating, I think, about too much control. And so when I'm outside, there's other things going on, and the world just seems to be going on without me, and sort of uninterested in what I'm doing. And I feel like that's just a really nice environment um for for imagination.
Going back to a little bit about the differences between the solo project and the La Luz thing, it's I know La Luz isn't like a surf rock band necessarily. I don't want to pigeonhole it like that, but it strikes me that fingerstyle acoustic guitar and surf rock are both really guitar driven. Like there's a lot of emphasis put on technique and speed and kind of flair. And so I was wondering if you see a correlation between that kind of surf rock riff lick shredding and the fingerstyle solo stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think that I am sort of drawn to a bit of like showiness with guitar. I think that like I just hesitate with that because I am self-taught, and I don't really know anything about the technical aspects of music or guitar. And if I'm in an environment with people who do and who want to talk to me about playing the fifth or whatever, just very simple music theory stuff, it's just completely over my head. And so I don't know. I am like I've always just been really into interesting guitar and guitar solos. I love guitar solos. Um, so yeah, I think that like that is that's always just kind of what's interested me about guitar. I've never really been a big strummer, and I feel like I'm getting farther and farther away from that, as I go. Um yeah. It's yeah, I don't know, it's funny to think of it that way because I think I'm like a secret shredder. I feel like I try to kind of hide how much joy it gives me.
That's awesome. When you're playing songs like Quick Winter Sun or Evil Eye and Sheriff of the Salton Sea, they have this really intricate and propulsive fingerstyle playing. And I'm just curious about how you develop patterns, or if you have if you hear it in your head first, or if you're playing and they kind of develop naturally.
Yeah, I don't know really. I feel like it's so much it's what I love about open tunings is that sort of getting to a place where I'm composing without thinking. And so I think that yeah, a lot of the guitar parts, especially for my acoustic solo work, are so intuitive. It's almost a hindrance at times because if I go to play the songs that I haven't played them in a while, I'm relying 100% on muscle memory, and and sometimes that doesn't come through, and it's just like this crazy puzzle. I feel like what's like the beautiful mind where there's like equations flying by or whatever. I feel like I'm just like lost in guitar land with like no map to get out. Yeah, so it's totally yeah, it's intuitive, and um that's what I love about it, but it is a little scary for me because if I don't sort of practice every now and then it can be hard to kind of find the songs again. Luckily, I'm really good at learning things by ear, so that's kind of what I have to do again is like relearn the songs if it's been a while.
Do you have a regular practice routine?
Not really. I mean, I like to practice in the sunshine, and so I like to go outside and like sit in an office chair and play guitar in the sun. That's my favorite thing. I feel like I kind of hate practice, to be honest. It I love just roaming around without any intention, but practicing for shows feels like so boring to me. But when I'm actually doing it, I always find that I do in fact love it, but it's hard for me to get the motivation sometimes to practice.
And then can we talk a little bit about the like specific gear that you use? Like what's your main acoustic guitar?
Yeah, I my main acoustic is it's a Alvarez from the 70s, and it's pretty unique. It's got like a classical guitar neck and headstock. But it's a steel string. I usually use silk and steel strings on it. And it just sounds really nice. And I've got a LR Bags pickup inside. I kind of like the wide neck, and um yeah, I just like the way it sounds. I like the way that silk and steel strings sound, how they're sort of a midway between a classical and a steel string. And um yeah, I'm not much of a gear nerd, so I found this one and I just sort of was immediately drawn to it, and I never really play anything else.
Well, it sounds really good on that record, especially with all the other instrumentation.
I've worked with a lot of the same people for most of my solo records, and there are people that I've known for a long time, and so it's mostly improvised. I'll send them the songs a couple weeks in advance, and then we'll just go into the studio, and I'll have my guitar parts, laid down first, and then they'll just kind of try stuff, and I'll say, yeah, like that, or maybe more like this, and yeah, we just kind of feel it out.
Right on. Do you ever record outside in the sunshine?
No, no, I that would be great. That's the thing about studios. They don't usually have much sunshine.
Yeah, and it's always so weird. Uh, I haven't done it in a while, but going into the studio, it's like, you want me to make music in here? It's like so dead.
I know you go for a lunch break and it's like, it's blinded.
Um, so one thing we like to ask everybody who comes on here is about like words of wisdom. So is there a piece of advice that was given to you that really resonated? And it can be specific about like guitar technique or songwriting or just life in general.
I guess I just try to not put too much stock in rules in general, and I think that uh I think that there's a lot you encounter a lot of snobbiness, in different realms of the music industry, just from like going into a guitar store and asking a question, or taking lessons. You'll run into people who say, "Oh, well, this is the way that you have to do this," and that's never true. When I started finger picking, I started by playing banjo, and I was like, okay, I got this banjo. I want to go take a class because I don't know what I'm doing on this thing. And I went into a store and they were like, well, you have to choose whether you're doing Scruggs style or claw hammer. And everybody's got to choose. And I was just like, that sounds like such BS. And I just started learning on my own. And that it really ended up being the best guitar lesson I could have taken, is to just learn banjo. I feel like it was, but I don't know if anyone would have ever told me that. I think that there's just a lot of there's so much freedom in just kind of coming up with your own rules.
To hear more from Shana Cleveland, be sure to check out the show notes for this episode. If you're enjoying the Acoustic Guitar Podcast, please head over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/acousticguitarplus. This is a listener-funded show, and your pledge of $1 or $5 or $9 a month helps us to continue to produce new episodes. Plus, you'll get instant access to a whole bunch of great perks like exclusive live stream workshops, song transcriptions, and guitar lessons. If you aren't able to make a contribution at this time, we understand. Another way you can support the show without spending any money is to leave a 5-star rating along with a review on Apple Podcasts. Thanks again for listening and for supporting Acoustic Guitar.